Have you ever just felt like you're wired differently than pretty much everyone else? Like you're operating on a whole other frequency, picking up on all these little signals no one else seems to notice, and then feeling completely wiped out by it all. Well, if that sounds familiar, you are in exactly the right place, because we're about to reframe that entire experience.
Oof, does that one hit somewhere deep? For so many of us, this wasn't some skill we decided to pick up. It was something we had to develop. It was a flat-out necessity. And that one simple fact? It changes absolutely everything.
Okay, let's really dive into this, because this question is the whole point. We're going to look at why your brain works the way it does. Not as a bunch of problems that need fixing, but as this incredibly sophisticated set of adaptations that were designed for one purpose, to keep you safe.
So, let's start by just putting some words to that feeling. That inner experience of being the overthinker, the too sensitive one, the person who always felt like they grew up way, way too fast. Yeah, this is the daily grind, isn't it? It's that feeling when you finally get home, you shut the door, and your whole body just exhales. Not because you had a bad day, but because you were just around other people. It's that huge, almost guilty wave of relief when someone cancels plans. See, that's not being antisocial, it's a symptom. It's a sign that your system is constantly running at max capacity. All right, now we get to the core idea of this whole explainer, and it's a big one. These things you think are personality flaws, they're not. They are sophisticated pieces of survival software, adaptations that your brain installed way back in childhood to help you navigate your world.
And there's actually a name for this: traumatic intelligence. Just like the slide says, it's this unique set of skills you build to survive environments that are chaotic or unpredictable. This has nothing to do with book smarts. This is a deep, gut-level knowledge of human dynamics forged in high-stakes situations. It is, quite literally, the intelligence of survival.
In this slide, this just lays out the disconnect perfectly. On the left, that's how the world might label you, right? Overthinking. But look at the right. The adaptive reality is that you're running threat simulations. Your brain is just trying to map out all the possibilities to keep you safe. People might see antisocial, but what you're actually doing is resource management. You're protecting your energy. It's not a bug, it's a feature. It's a specialization.
So, how did this all happen? Well, it usually starts in an environment that just felt unpredictable. If you were a kid who could tell what kind of night it was going to be just from the sound of the key in the door, you built a world-class prediction engine. And you know what? It worked. The only problem is, that engine never learned to shut down. It's old software still running on today's hardware.
So what does this survival software actually do? Well, one of its main features is a perceptual system that operates in stunning high definition. You don't just see the world, you feel it deeply. And if you've ever felt like you're the only one who feels things this intensely, you're not. This isn't just in your head, it's a real biological trait. Research shows that about 15 to 20% of us, that's roughly 1 in every 5 people, have a nervous system that's built to process sensory data more deeply. The sights, the sounds, and especially the emotions. It all just hits you harder. You're not imagining it, and you are definitely not alone.
This is the scan you're running constantly, usually without even realizing it. You walk into a room and, boom, before a single word is spoken, you've downloaded a full status report on the emotional state of everyone there. You catch that tiny shift in someone's tone, the way their smile doesn't quite reach their eyes. You see the mask, and you just can't unsee it.
And this might be the most crucial point of all. That gift of empathy, that intuition people might praise you for, it often has a much darker origin story. It's a hypervigilant surveillance system that you never learned how to switch off.
So if your brain is constantly doing all that surveillance work, it explains so much. Specifically, it explains why being alone isn't just a preference for you, it's a biological need. It's not an escape, it's recovery.
I love this metaphor because it's just so simple and so incredibly accurate. Think about it. Most people walk into a party or meeting with plenty of room in their glass. But you walk in and the water is already right at the brim because your inner world is already so busy processing everything. So that same event that energizes them, it completely overflows your glass.
And this slide basically maps out the whole cycle, doesn't it? First, you just absorb this incredible flood of data. Then, step 2, you hit your processing limit way faster than everybody else. The result? Step 3, this deep, Bone-deep exhaustion that has nothing to do with being physically tired. And, of course, the only solution is step 4. You have to retreat to get away from all the other noise so you can finally hear your own signal again.
This chart of a social energy budget just explains everything. I mean, look at small talk. It eats up a massive 50% of your energy for almost zero emotional return. It's all performance. But now compare that to a deep, real conversation. Sure, it still costs a lot, 30%, but you get something back. It's a real connection. For you, that might be the only kind of interaction that actually feels worth the price.
So let's reframe that need to be alone once and for all. It's not about avoiding people. It is an act of self-regulation. It's how you find your way back to you after being completely overwhelmed by the noise of the world.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now let's get to the most important part, the so what. How do we take all this understanding and turn it from just an explanation into a genuine source of strength? It's all about learning to own your unique operating system.
Think of this as your new dictionary, your personal translation guide. So next time you feel indecisive, you can recognize, oh, my brain is just doing what it does best, running multiple scenarios to find the safest route. When someone calls you too quiet, you can translate that in your own head to a preference for depth. This isn't about making excuses, it's about being accurate.
And with this operating system comes some incredible strengths. You could even call them superpowers. That hypervigilance, it means you can spot inauthenticity from a mile away. That so-called overthinking, it means your mind is busy making these amazing novel connections when it's quiet. And when you're with someone, you offer a kind of deep, validating presence that is just so rare. Your trust has to be earned, which means the relationships you do build are rock solid.
And this brings us to the final and maybe the most crucial question to ask yourself. This software was brilliant. It was a masterpiece of adaptation that ensured your survival. The work now is to look at each of these features and ask, honestly, is this still serving me? Do I still need this running at this high of an intensity? Or is it an old program that needs an update?
And I really want to leave you with this, because if there is only one thing you take away from all of this, please let it be this. You have likely spent your entire life trying to follow a user manual that was written for a completely different machine. The problem was never, ever you. It was the instructions. You are not a glitch in the system. You are the early warning system. You're not broken. You're adapted.